Hey guys, it's me, the Bombay Chef Varun Inamdar, and welcome to Rajshri Food. Today's recipe is an Italian classic called malfati. It has basically ricotta and spinach gnocchi served on a bed of tomato sauce with lots of Parmesan cheese. Let's begin. Generally for this recipe, we need blanched spinach. So we end up boiling a lot of water, we throw in some spinach and we blanch it, then we use ice and you know the whole drill of blanching spinach. Today, I'm going to show you an absolutely simple, easy method of blanching spinach. For that, we need a deep pan. And to this, I'm going to add in leaves of spinach. Just ensure that the stalk is cut, the leaves are nicely washed, and in they go into the pan. To this, let's add in half a cup of water. Let's turn this once, twice over and allow the spinach to wilt. This is one of the easier methods of blanching spinach. Once the spinach is wilted, transfer these leaves in a bowl and allow these to come down to room temperature or to a temperature where you can chop this with ease. For this, off goes the flame and the spinach is kept aside. Let's move to the next thing, and that is making the sauce, the tomato sauce for malfatti. For the malfatti sauce, I'm going to use ripe red tomatoes, and like the Italians do, I'm not using blanched tomatoes. What I'm using, regular tomatoes with the skin, with the seeds, everything on, just making it user friendly. Remember that. Let's transfer this in the mixer jar. The next is cloves of garlic, sugar to balance the flavors, and herbs of your choice. In this case, I'm using thyme and oregano. Let's blend this into a fine puree. Our puree is done and ready. Let's move to the next step of making the sauce. The first thing for that, of course, is to heat a pan. And to this, I'm going to add in vegetable oil. I've kind of Indianized this recipe so that all of us can appreciate the taste and flavor of an Italian malfatti. Well, generally, this sauce is nice, smooth, it's not chunky at all, but I prefer it slightly chunky, and I know somewhere deep within, you also prefer it like that. Before the oil just kind of begins to heat up, I'm going to add in sliced red onions. This is where the chunkiness of the sauce comes in. Traditional original malfatti uses white onions, and they are added as sauteed onions in the sauce and then blended into a fine pulp or puree. But like I said, I'm keeping it slightly chunky. Let's saute this till the onions turn translucent. Once the onions are translucent, let's add in the tomato puree, of course with the garlic, the sugar and the herbs. And let's cook this on medium to high flame for at least 3 to 4 minutes till the tomatoes, the garlic, everything cooks beautifully well. Time to add in salt as well. While the sauce is getting cooked, let's move on to making the dumplings or the gnocchis. For that, of course, we need the spinach that is blanched and ready. Let's transfer this blanched and squeezed spinach and transfer this onto a cutting board and chop this roughly. Let's transfer the chopped spinach in a deep bowl. And to this, let's add in the other ingredients. Let's begin with cottage cheese. Well, the traditional recipe calls for ricotta, the cheese, but because we may not have it available at all points in time, cottage cheese just comes second best. The idea of making this recipe simpler is to ensure that all of us can easily replicate this in our home kitchens. Let's crumble the cottage cheese on top of the spinach like so. To this, let's add in all-purpose flour. Because remember, these are like gnocchi, is literally like dumplings, that are going to float to the surface of the water. Parmesan cheese, a touch of salt. Remember the fact that spinach has its own salt, Parmesan has its own salt, and cottage cheese sometimes may also have salt. And along with this, lots of freshly cracked pepper. Let's bring all of this together and convert these into dumplings. Once all of this comes together, the next step is to keep the fork aside. Take lemon-sized balls like so and press these like so. Simple. Now you can shape these like a little cylinder or like these rounds. The choice is completely yours. Let's make some more. While I was forming the dumplings, the sauce has also wonderfully set. And when I say wonderfully set, I mean that there is no trail of water. Technically, we call it the lip of a sauce or a jam. So we're not looking at that in this case. Once that dries out, off goes the flame. And here, simultaneously, I've also kept a cauldron or a stock pot of water. Once that reaches its boiling point, in go these dumplings. Mind you, the water is not salted. The moment this hits boiling water, you'll realize that there's sink right at the bottom. Allow this to cook undisturbed, no stirring, no fiddling at all. You'll realize that after a minute, they all start rising to the top. That's the point when you start pulling these out of the boiling water and keep them on a plate. And you know the next step? We're ready to eat these. Let's begin the plating. It's as simple as sauce at the bottom and dumplings on top. Simple. Let's place these dumplings. Some more Parmesan cheese, some freshly cracked black pepper, and finally, some basil leaves, which are completely optional. With this, Malfatti My Style is done and ready. Make this for your family, make this for your friends, but more importantly, steal a few for yourselves. This is me, the Bombay Chef Varun Inamdar, signing off. See you soon, very soon. Bye for now.